Welcome friends, and thank you once again for tuning into Chill Guitar Reviews. This week we are reviewing something incredibly exciting because it's more or less the most expensive guitar I've reviewed so far on this channel. This week we are doing an in-depth review of the Ibanez RG Prestige 7, or to give it its full title, the Ibanez RGDR4427FX. Now, besides a shed load of numbers and letters, we are going to take a good hard look at what you actually get by spending the best part of £2,000, which is what this guitar is currently retailing for. It is available discounted down to around the 1600 mark. But I will admit to you guys, I didn't pay anything like that for this model. This is a guitar that's personally, for me, I'm going to keep this and have it as one of my own personal guitars. It's not just a review guitar. So this being a prestige line, this is Ibanez's made in Japan, top of the range line of guitars. So short of a custom shop, this is the highest end thing that they currently produce. Taking a look at the specs, well, they more or less are what you would expect at this price point, with a couple of exceptions that I really don't think are befitting of something in this price bracket. So first of all, we have a beautifully contoured and figured ash body with a rich light top that is advertised as being a natural flat finish. It's actually a deep kind of navy blue color, which is a beautiful contrast with the open pore ash wood that makes up the rest of the body. We have a Mikasa ebony fingerboard, which is mounted on a 5-piece neck, which has the unique to the Prestige line addition of reinforced titanium rods running the length of the neck, which should promise superior tuning stability and superior temperament of the wood in varying weather conditions. We have a Graphtec Tusk XL nut, made in Japan Goto locking machine heads, Luminlay side dots and fretboard dots, and finally a pair of DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups, or at least you do when you buy this guitar new. The eagle-eyed among you will see that I've actually swapped those pickups out for something else, and in just a moment we're going to look at why, and we're going to compare the stock pickups to what I have now installed in this guitar. Which neatly leads us on to what I think are the two big standout specs of this guitar that really don't belong on something costing £2,000 retail, in my opinion. We are lacking stainless frets on this guitar. Instead, we just have standard nickel frets, but they have been given the Prestige fret edge treatment, which effectively means they've been individually rounded off and just given real attention to detail, care to ensure that the fretwork is really nicely consistent and smooth under your hand. Me personally, I don't tend to mind too much if something has stainless or nickel frets. What's more important to me is the fret job itself. Are the frets polished? Are they smooth? Are the edges sharp? How are they set? I do, however, fully understand that a lot of you guys who subscribe and watch the channel really do like stainless frets, and the enhanced durability and longevity that stainless steel frets offered are really like deal breakers for you guys, and I fully understand that. So it's disappointing that this top of the line Japanese made Prestige guitar just has nickel frets, especially when I've reviewed guitars on this channel costing like 400 quid that have stainless steel frets. The second appointment on this guitar that I don't feel really befits it is the pickups. This guitar, as I said, comes with a set of DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups, which are passive pickups. I have had these in a number of Ibanez guitars and they're fine. They are quite neutral, they are medium to high-ish output. They're not overly voiced in a particular way, they're quite flat, they're quite clear, they are perfectly serviceable as kind of a starting point for creating whatever tone you want. However, the fact that I have had these pickups on guitars costing as little as 500-600 quid, something like that, it's kind of a shame to see them on a guitar costing 4 times that amount. When you look at the rest of the Ibanez lineup, you look at, for example, the Axion label line. For around £1,000, they have bare knuckle pickups included, they have Fishman pickups included for well under 800 quid. I really would have expected to see something like that on this top of the line guitar rather than what really is a pair of mid-range pickups, which is what the DiMarzio Fusion Edges are. Furthermore, if when buying this guitar you do want to swap the pickups out, kind of annoyingly, the pickup feet are triangular DiMarzio shaped feet. So if you want to swap them out to anything that isn't a pickup with triangular shaped feet, which, let's face it, is most pickups, you're really going to be left with a bit of a task to get them to fit. You're either going to have to route extra space in this beautiful rich light top, which I would strongly advise against because it can go horribly wrong, or you're going to have to file the pickup feet down to get them to fit. Now, I happen to have had a set of Seymour Duncan Jeff Loomis pickups sat in my office for a couple of months now, just waiting for the right guitar to roll along to slot them in to try. Luckily enough, they happen to have triangular shaped pickup feet, so they were a relatively straightforward install into this guitar. Now, I understand pickups are a subjective topic, so I think the best thing to do is I'm going to play some back-to-back riffs for you, both clean and heavy. So first of all, you're going to hear what the stock DiMarzio Fusion Edge pickups sound like, and then you're going to hear the Seymour Duncan Jeff Loomis Blackout set. Now, I would love to know what you guys think of what you've just heard. Did you prefer option A or option B? Now personally, I really have enjoyed what these Seymour Duncan Jeff Loomis blackouts have been giving me tone-wise. The neck pickup is just beautifully chimey and crisp, very glassy, like Strat-like tones. The bridge pickup is quite close to a classic active sound, so something like an EMG pickup. Super just chuggy, compressed, loads of pick attack in there. So much fun to just solo with and mess around with. Now hopefully, as you've just heard, the Damasio Fusion edges, they sound okay, but they don't sound anything special. And pickups aside, the overall resonant qualities of this guitar, being the fact that it's a bolt-on, it's an ash body, it's beautifully put together, this thing just pops acoustically. When this guitar is not plugged in, it sounds so damn good. It's so bright and clear sounding that I do feel like those pickups that come with it kind of let the whole package down a little bit. Talking of build, how is the build quality? Well, your expectations will likely be sky high because this thing's made by Fujigen in Japan and it comes with a huge price tag. Now, I'm really pleased to report that the build of this guitar is impeccable. There is absolutely nothing I can fault this guitar for, other than this rich light top scratches for a pastime. There's already a small mark I've made on this top literally by just touching it on the edge of the desk, not even particularly hard. So durability is kind of an issue with this rich light top, probably because it's just bare satin, there's no lacquer, there's nothing to really protect it. And really, I think when it comes to build, this is the thing that you are going to get by paying this sort of money for a guitar from this sort of manufacturer. And that is attention to detail. Every single fret is perfectly consistent from the 1st to the 24th. There is not a single tooling mark, there is not a single paint blemish, there is not a single sharp edge on anything on this neck, up and down. All of the finishing, such as the nut, the machine head spacing, it's all within ultra tight tolerances. And you can just tell that this thing has been gone over with an extremely critical eye before being allowed to leave the factory. The attention to detail on the beveled edges and the cutaways and the various contours of the shape of this guitar mean that it's such a tactile and pleasurable thing to just hold in your hands, even if you're not playing it. And I really do think that attention to detail is the main USP for somebody who is considering spending a bit more money and getting a high-end mass manufactured guitar like this. Just as a kind of imprecise example, here is a photograph of the fretboard edge of my Solar A1.7. You can see just small little defects, a little bit of paint on the fret edge, just some little blemishes in the finish. You know, nothing that you would spot at any distance away from the guitar. But here is a photograph of the fretboard edge of this Ibanez Prestige. I mean, there is literally nothing that shouldn't be there. So, build is phenomenal. Tuning stability is equally very, very good. I have this thing set up in drop A currently, and I've really encountered no tuning stability issues whatsoever. It intonated really nicely just out of the box. The addition of Luminlay fret markers as well as side dots is a very nice premium feature, and I must say these Luminlay dots glow extremely bright and for a very long time. Ergonomically, this has the classic Ibanez wizard neck shape. It's nice and thin, it's very flat and wide. You lead players are going to absolutely love this thing. The body is extremely slim, it's extremely light, especially considering this is a 7-string guitar. Even with something like an active pickup conversion like I've done here, which adds the weight of a battery and some extra bits, this is still going to be among the lightest 7-string guitars that you will ever play. Other premium niceties include the absolute luxury of a proper hard shell case. Yes, this thing will arrive to you in a proper case, not just some gig bag or a cardboard box. The case is superb quality, extremely well lined inside, and you have the always nice to see addition of the famous Ibanez multi-tool, which basically has everything you need to complete a setup on a guitar in one little Swiss Army knife style gadget. The recessed barrel jack in the heel of the guitar is a very nice feature also. It is set at a slightly weird angle, which causes the guitar lead to kind of shoot upwards out of the edge of the guitar. However, I can imagine this is a very welcome addition for when you're playing stood up, because the lead will really nicely tuck inside your guitar strap and be quite well concealed. So after breaking everything down and in-depthly looking at this guitar, and considering the fact that I did feel it necessary to swap the stock pickups out, is this something that you guys could justify dropping the best part of £2,000 on? There are a couple of items of spec on this thing that, in my opinion, really shouldn't be there on an instrument of this caliber and price. However, as an overall package, this thing feels like a thing of beauty, quite frankly. The attention to detail, the quality, the tactile feel of just how well screwed together and tight and resonant everything is on this guitar is such a joy to play. It really is one of those instruments that you will struggle to put down and just want to get one more riff out on. Quite honestly, for me, I would not have paid the full asking price for this guitar, and I paid nothing even close to it to get this example, but I really want to hear if you would. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching a chill guitar review once again. It really would help me, and I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this video so the algorithm gods smile down upon me. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated financially via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Any financial support, no matter how small, even if it's £1, is gratefully received, and it all goes straight back into the channel and towards getting more videos done for you guys. Until the next chilled review, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.